Our thoughts are infiltrated. Our emotional field is manipulated. Our physical bodies are bombarded. And our spiritual bodies are also hijacked by different mechanisms within this false matrix. And some people may hear this or experience this and feel extremely discouraged, defeated. Maybe feel like, how in the world can we ever go up against that? It's on every level. And the thought that I want to introduce to you guys is that it's on every level. And that just shows you just how profound and powerful of a being you are, that it has to be on every level in order to keep you confused, in order to keep you disempowered. You see what I mean? And the fact that it's happening on every level, the one thing that they, the distorted matrix, cannot take from you is your ability to look within. Because looking within is simply a choice, right? Close your eyes, take a breath. Who can stop you from doing that? Now, granted, reflecting inward takes more than those two simple steps, but those two simple steps are what gets you started. And as you go inward, you become more empowered. You can see and connect with the universal tree within. You can use every event, every moment, every trigger. You can use anything and everything that happens in your moment-to-moment life to be a catalyst to taking you deeper within. No one can stop you once you know to do that. No one can stop you. So these distractions, these narratives, all these different things that keep us out here in fear, out here in reactivity, out here in blame, all this stuff. This is you feeding the false matrix. This is you feeding the false matrix. And believe you me, we all feel very justified feeding the false matrix sometimes, don't we? But when you're going in circles, when you're in the same loop over and over and over again, right? There's a point in time where you get sick of it. And what I'm saying here is that when you get sick of it, this is where you can pause, close your eyes, take a breath, go within. And from within, you're going to find the realization that will end the loop. And you know you have the realization because you start to understand how everything in this false matrix has keys to your empowerment within it. A while ago, I did the chat and I was saying the cures and the poison. And that's exactly right. The cure is in the poison. So you're in, say, an ancestral loop. Say you have a bad picker. Let's say you have a bad picker. Your mom had a bad picker. Your grandmother had a bad picker, right? Like you always pick toxic people to partner up with. You know, since it didn't start with you, that's something that's ancestral. And you can continue to point outwards and blame. But once you realize, I'm doing the same thing my mom did. God, and she's doing the same thing my grandmother did. There's your cue. The matrix, the false matrix got me. And now you can start going within and turning that experience into something that empowers you, turning that experience into something that takes you deeper into yourself. It's difficult to go against these programs because these programs have a lot of inertia within it, especially the stuff in the collective field, especially when it's super highly polarized. When things are very highly polarized, it's very, very tricky to navigate these things. It's very tricky to navigate these things. Uh-oh. The motorcycles are out. And so I'm not saying this is easy, but what I'm saying, this is a key. This is a key that you can use. And it's up to you to navigate how to apply it. The more truthful you are with yourself, the easier it gets, I have to say. So when you really want to buy into a story, your victim story, or maybe your perpetrator story, whatever, when you really want to buy into it, it's not just your energy that's buying into it, and it's not just the ancestral inertia buying into it, unresolved ancestral inertia. There's also all these frequencies within the collective artificially enhancing that energy too. So it's like a wave that builds and builds and builds until it's like a tsunami energetically. So this is something that takes time to mitigate the inertia. First, it's simply taking a breath, catching your breath, and slowing down. So first you catch your breath, you slow down, and you can just say to yourself, there's a lot more here than what I'm seeing. I don't know what I don't know. Okay? And you start calming your nervous system down. Okay? Start calming your nervous system down. Because even getting control of your nervous system is unplugging yourself from these matrix games. Okay? So once you calm yourself down, then in the acknowledgement of I don't know what I don't know, you can start switching gears and saying, okay, on some level, my spirit is creating this path. My spirit is creating my life right now. It is my spirit that is unfolding my trajectory. If that feels like the truth, then the rest of this will be helpful. If that doesn't feel like the truth, then, the rest of this might not be helpful. Like you can get to that, where that feels like a resonant truth as a truth compass, then you can start reminding your ego driver that though it really wants to be in charge, its job is to pretend to be in charge in a lot of ways. It actually is not in charge. You can tell your ego driver, listen, what you got going on here, what you're emotionally masturbating about isn't really the truth. Okay? It's not really the truth. The truth is I am an infinite being in a biosuit. This biosuit comes with an ego driver that has been trained by this false matrix to give its power away. Okay? If that baseline feels like the truth, that is the way in to slow yourself down and start looking at things differently. And when you do that, you start to let things start to lighten up. You start to realize that I'm so strongly impacted, I'm so full of anxiety and fear because of the energetic inertia of these narratives, because of the energetic inertia between unresolved ancestral stuff, unclear personal relationship stuff, and the inertia of the false matrix. When you lay it out like that, it's like, oh, no wonder I got swept away, right? It really helps to have wise, helpful friends hold space too. Actually, that's a major key piece in my world, is having wise, insightful, helpful friends. When things are really up for me, I rely on them, and they rely on me. It's like the interconnectedness really is a deep support. Okay, so you're slowing yourself down, you're getting control of your nervous system, you're putting your ego driver in check. Now you can start working the different ways that you know how to work to flush things out of the subconscious. So you can start looking, relating, unplugging, being willing to unplug yourself from from this situation you've lost yourself in, okay? Because we lose ourselves into situations. We lose ourselves in relationships. We lose ourselves in our desires. We lose ourselves in our addictions. You see what I mean? We pretty much immerse ourselves so deeply in it, we completely are lost. We get completely lost from our center when we do that. So once you notice that you have lost yourself in a situation, that is the key moment where you can pull back. You can pull yourself back. And we teach some really good techniques in the academy on how to pull your energy back from these kinds of things. But you pull yourself back. Take a nice deep breath. Bring yourself back to you inside of your biosuit and pull yourself back from the scenario. Pull yourself back from the person, the energy, whatever it is. You pull yourself back. And now you're more available for a different perspective.